It's the Wings and Things podcast. It's the Wings and Things podcast. It's the Wings and Things podcast. What's up, everyone? It is the Wings and Things podcast, episode 2, week 1 edition. And we're going to kick things off with the hot topic right now, which is, of course, Antonio Brown. And before I turn to Matt and Mike and get their analysis on all the crazy shit that's been going on, I'm going to pour one out for Antonio Brown's Raiders career. Very similar to his career with the Bills when some people thought he got traded there. So I'm going to head right over to you, Matt. What do you got going on for Antonio Brown? Do you like the... Yeah, thanks for throwing that out of the fucking way, man. Do you like the signing? Do you think the Patriots made a smart move? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, they got a 1-year rental from a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Didn't pay him $30 million. $9 million guaranteed. Not bad. That's a steal. Culture change. So if any team could, get him on the right track, it's the Patriots. But at the end of the day, I think it's still going to end up as a disaster. There's no saving this guy. If you have him, sell him right now. If you have him, honestly, sell him. His value is at an all-time high now. Now that he's with New England.
Is he a lock for 1,000 yards?
Of course. If he plays a full season, he's a lock for 1,500 yards. But what's going to happen when Edelman's having an Edelman game and he has like 10 catches? What's going to happen when Gordon has a couple home run plays, or Brown doesn't have a good game? It's like something's going to happen. I'm not sure what, but this last offseason, what just happened with the Raiders was something that we haven't seen in 100 years in NFL history. I'm kind of exhausted talking about it, but based off that, something's going to happen. It's a given. If you have them, I would sell high.
Mike, your thoughts on the AB situation?
I can't stand Antonio Brown, but you just have to look at him like he's a genius. And it's to the point now where I just really think this was the part of the fucking plan the whole time. I thought he fucking injured his feet on purpose so he didn't have to fucking practice, because deep down he knew he wasn't going to play for Oakland. The marketing scheme with the helmet thing, the New England Patriots are not going to trade him to the Steelers. They will trade him to Oakland. And this was unbelievable smart. The Patriots didn't make a smart move. They made a typical Patriot move. Randy Moss, Oakland, New England. You know the history. Antonio Brown. That shit is... He can get away with that shit in Oakland. Listen, Antonio Brown hasn't changed. He's been the same player he has been since he was a rookie. It's all about him. Tomlin and the Steelers, a good organization, kept it under taps. New England's going to even do a better job. When people go there, it's a different ballpark. The dude's going to be a lock for 1,000 yards. Don't sell high. Keep him. Be thankful that you didn't trade him before this all went down. To me, it's just like, of course. I thought the Patriots were going to have a down year without Gronk. Now, to me, they're the clear favorite Super Bowl contender. It's just genius from Antonio Brown and Drew Rosenhaus. I think this is part of the plan the whole time.
Fucking Tony, tapping the pen over there, dude.
I'm trying to hammer the point home.
Okay. I like your passion. I have a lot to say about this, man. I don't even know where to begin, but you actually kind of stole one of my points. It's almost as if this was all scripted. And one of the reasons why I say that is because, and this is just a shout out to Rob Edwards, who is one of the owners in our fantasy leagues, but the dude will watch any and every TV series. And a couple weeks ago, he hit me up. He's like, dude, you got to watch Ballers. He's like, and he warned me. He said it was a terrible show. Yeah, it's starring The Rock. If you've seen it, unfortunately, you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, don't check it out. It fucking sucks. Unless you're a huge football junkie, it's not worth it. But the reason why I bring up the show is because one of the reasons why the show sucks is because of all the outlandish shit that happens. Like, every episode, someone's got CTE, another guy gets cut, one teammate's banging another teammate's mom. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's basically a grown man soap opera. But now that I think about it, I mean, HBO couldn't have scripted what occurred to Antonio Brown this offseason. With the cryotherapy, foot injury, the frostbite, the helmet debacle, calling Mike Mayock a cracker.
Allegedly.
Allegedly calling him a cracker. I mean, that's the type of shit you would see in a TV show. And if you watched it in a TV show, you wouldn't believe it. But with that being said, it does seem like this could have been a setup all along. Obviously, Antonio Brown, when he got traded to the Raiders, probably knew, like, I have no chance of winning a Super Bowl. That team was not probably going to even be a playoff team this year. So what does he do? He throws a temper tantrum because he's a child and gets cut. And no other team in the NFL wants to touch him except for the New England Patriots, who have won 6 Super Bowls, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and they're going to get it done. With that being said, from a fantasy perspective, I actually kind of agree with Matt. I feel like there are now a lot of mouths to feed in New England between Gordon, Edelman, Antonio Brown,
Demaryius.
James White in the backfield, Demaryius Thomas. There's so many mouths to feed. I think the instant takeaway that most fantasy owners are going to have is, wow, AB, sexy name. Patriots, sexy team. Tom Brady, great quarterback. Bill Belichick, great system. This is going to be amazing. He should put up great numbers. But he didn't have a training camp there. Now he's got to learn the offense on the fly. We saw when Chad Ochocinco went to New England, he didn't have much success. I'm not saying AB is going to be a complete flop. I'm just saying if you can coerce or convince other owners in your league that AB is going to have this monster season and you can get some value out of him, then I believe that it might be a good time, a good opportunity to make that trade because it's just such an unknown. And on the flip side, what else is an unknown is he might not ever even suit up for a game, like you said. What's the next fucking thing that's going to happen in this guy's life? And I'm just going to finish it off with, I believe he must have like a serious case of CTE. I mean, his decision-making is so irrational.
Montez Perfect.
Yeah.
Rock this shit.
Perfect rocked him. I don't think he's ever been the same since. AB... I'm staying away from him.
Though. Who plays more games since you guys feel like Antonio Brown will have a mishap, which is rightly justified. Who plays more games, Gordon or Antonio Brown?
Josh Gordon. And that's sad that I did not hesitate to say Josh fucking Gordon.
How about you, Josh?
I think that Antonio Brown is going to be a bad influence on Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon will probably get busted for smoking weed and like doing coke again. And I think that they'll probably both be off the roster by the end of the
Good news
season.
for Julian Edelman owners like, mwah. But 4 wide receivers active right now have only had a 1,600-yard season. Patriots now have 3 of them.
Demaryius, Gordon, and AB.
AB. Well, so we'll see how it pans out, but trade AB if you have him.
It's going to be fun, that's for sure.
It's going to be, yeah. Stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. And like I said, like if I lived in the Boston area, man, I'm trying to party with Josh Gordon and AB.
I mean, who won it?
That's going to be a good time,
Jesus.
right? You know what I mean? Get blazed up.
Gronk.
Maybe hit the Enjoy pod.
Hit up Gronk.
Drink some Natty Light seltzers.
This is
Just
not
saying.
a advertisement, by the way.
No, not an
Not a
advertisement.
sponsor.
If they want to sponsor us, what's
Hit us
good? Let's move on to the next topic. We'll keep things moving here, and we're going to talk about the horrible NFL season opener on Thursday night. Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. It was a poop fest, 100% a poop fest. And but with that being said, it was still a fucking game. You know, you probably had some players, Aaron Rodgers, David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, in your fantasy league. So we're going to do a little bit of a Thursday night recap. But before we get into that, I just want to throw out a disclaimer. Fuck Roger Goodell. He continues to prove that he is one of the worst commissioners in NFL history. Every other year up until this point, the defending Super Bowl champions have played in the first game. He decides to switch it up for the 100th anniversary of the NFL. Who gives a shit? Nobody gives a fuck about that. Puts the Bears versus the Packers. Just strategically a horrible move, especially coming from a league that over the past couple of years, it's been questionable as far as how their ratings have been. So let's throw the number 1 defense against an offense with a brand new head coach. Terrible decision making. Roger Goodell still a fucking clown. But anyway, there is some shit to take away. Thursday night recap, Matt. What do you got for me?
Speaking of takeaway, Montgomery's usage took away my soul. Watching that game as a Montgomery owner, and you guys who have him, you gotta be. Don't be too concerned. I'll tell you why. I mean, he had one target. Here's what happened for the Bears. First down. They only had 16 the entire game. They got a first down, 27 yards. The team's longest play, tied for the team's longest play. So they threw him the ball once. Team's longest play, a first down, and good things happen. He had 5 broken tackles on 7 touches. Why did they feed Mike Davis the ball? Why did he only get 1 target? And I get it. It took Jordan Howard 2 games before he, took the reins of the backfield and led the league in rushing. So I get it. I think, if you have Montgomery, don't be too nervous, but they got to get Mike Davis off the field. Cohen is a non-factor in the backfield. That's good. So if they could just take Mike Davis out for a couple more offensive series, I think Montgomery's going to be in good shape. So hold on to him. Don't sell high. If you can, go and get Aaron Jones also and Montgomery. I think they're 2 good guys you could buy low and get them at a good price. I think Aaron Jones is going to be good. Don't worry about Jamal Williams.
He sucks. He's horrible.
Yeah, come on. So
Look at the snap counts, though. I'm just saying. There wasn't much far off between Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones. Look at the snap count total. Just saying.
And then the flip side, in the Bears situation, Montgomery was in the backfield less than Davis. And Cohen was on the field the most out of the 3, even though he mostly played in the slot. There's definitely a lot to talk about as far as the 2 running back situations. What were your thoughts on Thursday night's game, Mike?
Listen, at first, the game sucked, and I was one of those guys who was like, stop bitching, football's back, be happy. But as the game went on, it just got so tiresome. Just a miss throw after miss. But anyway, I'm not going to overreact, but Nagy's Chip Kelly 2.0. I said it to Matt, I said it to Josh. The dude had a really good year last year with Mitch, caught the league by storm. He's really creative in his play designs. I like the way he motions, but I mean, it looked awful. And yes, he's playing the Bears defense, but it was really concerning as just a normal spectator here. But the NFC North is wide open. Detroit can win that division. I don't care what anybody says. Minnesota can win that division. Anybody can win that division. Okay, I take that back. Detroit has no shot. Got a little carried away.
The head coach says no.
I got carried away. Sorry. Take that back. Detroit, no shot. But listen, the game sucked, 10-3. Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers. He found a way to win, even though he really didn't do much. There's not really any take. Allen Robinson looked good. He was the one outlier, but I mean, what else is there to say? We all saw the lack of offensive productivity from both teams. Chicago, we all knew was going to have a good defense. Green Bay's defense looked good. I think they looked improved. I don't know I can't really say how good they're going to be moving forward because of Chicago's offense and the way they looked, but that's a defense that looks like, I didn't expect them to hold the Bears at 3 points here, so I think Matt covered it.
Before you go, Josh, a take on the Packers. If you have Allison and Scantling, that's going to be it's going to be hard rolling them out. I don't think neither of them emerge. I think they're going to have almost identical stats. I think that's something you have to avoid. And Jimmy Graham does it again in the red zone.
Yeah.
One more thing here I got a question for you guys. The one stat that really got me was Cohen, like you said, a slot receiver, 50 snaps, only 4 at running back. Do you agree with the way Nagy is using Cohen here? And if not, how would you divide that backfield up, and how would you shift them formations catering to those guys?
Here's the thing. I'm not an Anthony Miller truther. I know he was productive in college. Last year he was banged up. He was banged up again in the offseason. Do I think he has some potential to be a decent receiver? I mean, his only competition would be Taylor Gabriel, who they put out on the outside. I disagree with the way Nagy used him. I mean, if it's a true empty set and you have Cohen out in the slot, that's fine. But in passing downs, you cannot convince me that Mike Davis is a better receiving back than Tariq Cohen. He's a matchup nightmare. I think the smart approach would be put Anthony Miller in the slot, put Tariq Cohen in the backfield,
backfield.
and then it makes it difficult because the linebacker is just not going to be able to
I
cover
agree.
Tariq Cohen.
And if not, I mean, even it out a little bit, like 50 snaps for it running back. I mean, even it out a little bit more. I mean, but
Matt, what are your thoughts on that situation as a Montgomery owner?
Montgomery's got to be the bell cow. With a little bit of a mix in with Cohen doing his little gadget Andy Reid shit. I mean, Nagy said, we don't want to use Cohen. He got too many touches last year. We're going to hold it back. Oh, Montgomery, yeah. He's great. Nobody talked about Mike Davis, and look what happened. Yeah, you blew yourself. You blew yourself in the foot, dude.
Well, do you blame
blew
Nagy?
himself.
Yeah, I mean,
Blew himself.
Was he have no ribs or something?
yeah. Do you blame Nagy or do you blame Trubisky? Because no one's really mentioned Mitchell Trubisky at this point, and he looks fucking horrible.
We all know what he is.
He put up good numbers last year, though.
I think he put up good numbers. And listen, I'm probably wrong, but that offense was different than what the norm of Chicago, the traditional offense. And I think that it was hard for defenses to really muster up a decent game plan, especially when they're playing that opposing defense. So, I mean, with that being said, it's going to be interesting to see how they do week 2. I don't know who they're playing, but let's see if he goes back to the drawing board or just plots out the same shit. It'll be interesting to see what he does.
I know this is not going to happen, but Chase Daniels will run that offense efficient enough to win games with that defense.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to bench Trubisky. They traded up for him, but
it's not going to happen.
The real person to blame here is probably the GM, Ryan Pace, because he traded up to draft Mitchell Trubisky, and the 2 quarterbacks taken after Trubisky, Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. And you can't tell me at this point, even if you're a Chicago Bears fan, that you'd rather have Mitchell Trubisky than Mahomes or Watson.
And I think they're trying to force it on Trubisky. They're trying to, showcase how they were right all along, and you can kind of tell with the play calls. I mean, he's just forcing throws. It's just, I think sooner or later they're gonna see what they got. I could be wrong, but it'll be fun to see.
You hear what Nagy said? He was asked, "How come you didn't call more run plays?" And he was like, "Well, we did. They're RPOs. We called runs, but the read was pass."
Because everyone wants to force Trubisky to throw the ball. Here's the thing. I kind of agree with. I don't put all of the blame on Nagy. I mean, I don't like him as a head coach simply because he wears a visor in the year of 2019.
Just go bandana.
I like the visor.
Yeah, go bandana, dude. Go
start a new trend on the sideline.
Go
rock the bandana.
Full Survivor, Tribal Council. You know what I mean? Tiki torches and everything.
The tribe has spoken.
The tribe has spoken, exactly. But here's the thing, man. And that's going to be the game plan all year is force Trubisky to throw the ball downfield. And I think what happened last year, as you mentioned, the way the offense was ran, teams didn't have time to adjust. It was a lot of gadget plays, dink and dunk, get the ball to Cohen quickly, which is why Allen Robinson didn't really have a great season last year. And now everyone's high on the Allen Robinson train because he got peppered with targets. I think the Bears, coming into the season, I was 100% in them regressing. I did not think that they would be a playoff team this year. I think both Minnesota and Green Bay are better.
I agree.
But with that being said, they're still going to beat up the shitty teams in the league. Just because they have too much firepower, too many weapons.
And that defense.
And the defense is remarkable.
Mitch's numbers last year, on paper they were good, but look at his game logs. Just up and down.
Yeah, inconsistent.
Up and down.
Beat up bad teams.
Had that
struggled
one
against
great
good
game
teams
in the shootout versus New England on prime time. I mean, just inconsistent. It's not what you want out of the number 3 overall quarterback.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And anyway, really, I mean, what it came down to was I was super excited, super stoked, cracked a couple Natty Light seltzers, made myself a rum and Coke to watch the first night of the NFL. And honestly, the only highlight was probably the Navy dude that sang the national anthem.
Dude,
he
was good,
he belted it out. Beyond that, at halftime, I flipped the channel. I went right to Pornhub, and I turned on Mia Khalifa. I turned on Mia Khalifa because I heard she was going to be on Dr. Phil, and I was just. I was watching it from a research perspective. I was not watching it from it's time to grab the lotion and a tube sock.
Who uses lotion anymore?
Yeah, you can't just chafe it,
What
bro.
are you, 4?
I use
4 years
lotion
old?
once, 4 times a year.
You
Swear to God.
give yourself 2 days and your skin regenerates, man. Your dick is like a lizard.
Yeah.
It's like a lizard. You
God
get a
made your
whole new-
hands. God didn't make lotions.
Yeah, it's, you
That's-
don't need
that's
lotion.
debatable. That's
Ketchup and
debatable.
mustard for little kids. Lotion jerking off is for little tykes.
I agree.
Come on.
12-year-olds, dude.
Yeah,
Well,
100%.
if you never mind. If you lay down in the shower and jerk off, that's fucking
Oh, dude,
disgusting,
the
dude.
fuck?
It's
Where did you come up
disgusting.
with that?
I just if you do that, don't do it.
If you take baths,
That's disgusting. Take showers. Baths are disgusting.
That's for
dude.
children. And females. I mean, if you're a female, you can get away with it.
Mustard
glass
ketchup
of red
bath.
wine in a bath. Give me a break. Stand the fuck up and watch
With
it.
a book that they're fucking not even reading. You know, like a
And
life book.
and a bath bomb. Or
Yeah.
one of those
A
fucking
bath
bath
bomb,
bombs.
yeah.
And an Instagram post.
Of
Did
just
you
of
even
their
pee in the
legs.
bath?
Of their legs.
All right, so
Yeah.
what's going on with Mia, bro?
Well, Mia Khalifa claimed that she only made $12,000 in her porn star career. Now, if that's truly the case, that's embarrassing and pathetic because you
She's
know
number
she
one.
was getting
She's
railed
number
out.
one still.
She's number. I don't know about. Have you watched the Mia Khalifa
checked it.
porno
Oh,
Dude,
she's definitely
honestly,
number
have you?
Last week.
last week?
Yeah. It was
Is she still actively making porn?
No. Dude, even when
Yeah,
she was,
she
there
has
was
a
only like a
boyfriend.
select few. There was only like 5-6 videos out there that were like spank banking material. But like those videos were fire, dude. The first Mia Khalifa video I fucking
Oh, it's
seen,
definitely
bro.
a game changer.
Dude.
It's vintage now,
Dude,
man.
she's like wearing the fucking Khabib thing. And her mom, she brings her boyfriend over.
Oh, because she looks like she's Muslim.
Yeah, she brings the boyfriend over. The mom's like has a Khabib on, so she's like, no. And the dude like fucks them both. It's so
Whoa,
fucking
some
good.
threesome action.
Yeah,
Rock
last
hard.
week. Big Florida State fan she is. She
But
loves
anyway,
Winston.
do you feel bad that she's only made $12,000 making
Well,
porn? Are you buying into her pity
Antonio
party?
Brown was the number one wide receiver, right? And he wanted that fucking money. He got $30 million guaranteed. Yeah, he blew it, but number one porn star still is.
She
Go
definitely blew
to
it.
xvideos.com. She's still number one.
She's not number one in my book, dude. She's okay.
I'm
Are
talking
her
about,
tits real? Are her tits real? Can someone let us know? Please comment.
Does it
Don't be
matter?
that guy. Don't be that guy. Oh,
And
fake
I have
tits.
nothing against
Come on,
fake
man.
tits, but I'm just saying, because outside of her tits and the fact that she kind of looks Middle Eastern, I don't know what's so special about her. She wears glasses. Cool. Awesome. So do 50%
glasses
of the
turn me
bitches.
on, though.
Okay. Who's your favorite porn star then? Who's your number one?
Well, I'm a fan of ethnic women, exotic-looking women. So Mia Khalifa, you would think would fit like right into where I'm going.
Your
But
cup of tea.
she's kind of like she just kind of reminds me of like just a basic ass bitch that you'd find on like a college campus. So the fact that you bring up, oh, she's a Florida State fan, because she probably looks like 20% of the Florida State population. I
went
think
to the
she's
wrong
overrated,
school.
dude. Yeah, I went to the wrong school too. My favorite porn star, man. I think there's some good ones out there, man. I like Johnny Sins.
He puts on for the bald
Dude,
guy.
he's great, dude.
I like James Dean. I think he's got a pretty. I think he's got a meat hammer. Peter North. If you guys don't know who Peter North is, he puts in work. Those would be my favorite. What about you, Mike?
J Max, a very underrated male porn star, but
I like guy from Ridley, our old stopping grounds.
shout out to Jake Verdencelli.
Jake Verdencelli, I think, dude, if I know this, that's how you know you're addicted to porn. I think his porn name is like Pierce Diamond.
Mhm.
Went to middle school with this dude. Had a nice house like on the lake in Ridley Park.
Right on
dude.
Swarthmore
Was
Ave.
smashing girls. I should have known. I was like, yo, this dude was going to be a fucking one of the youngest, porn stars in the game doing the thing. But my number one, dude, Vanessa Blue. Look her up.
That chocolate.
I like
Vanessa Blue.
I'm
like
not a
that.
fan of her though.
I like that.
I'm not a fan.
Vanessa Blue.
I like Claudia Marie.
Claudia
Keep it short and
Marie.
sweet.
Yeah.
Don't know her.
You would not like her.
I like black porn stars too. Definitely my preference.
Maserati.
I'd probably go Harley Dean. You ever see her?
I heard of
She's
Harley
a
Quinn.
smoke show.
Nah, listen, you gotta go. I'm a Jada Fire, Lacey Duval,
Jada Fire's old school. Lacey Duval's old school. Dude, are you 50
Diamond
years
Jackson.
old?
I like them. I like the old stuff.
Diamond Jackson still puts out material. I
She's
like her.
old.
She's okay.
How about Minka? But anyway, I digress.
Speaking of porn
Minka
stars,
Fitzpatrick.
yeah, Minka Fitzpatrick, dude, he's got a mean hammer. Speaking of porn stars, though, down here in Florida, it's not the porn capital of the world. That's definitely out in California, but it would be in second place. So it would be like the Juju to the AB. And my neighbor was a porn star. I had no idea at first. We moved into the house, and had someone from Best Buy come out to install like a washer and dryer. And he was like, "Yo, how do you feel about your neighbors across the street?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I mean, they seem like a middle-aged couple. They seem pretty chill." He's like, that they're, the husband is a porn producer and the wife is a porn star." And I was like, no fucking way. I did not believe him until I started noticing that on the weekends, random like Escalades, Range Rovers would pull up. Some young girl or young guy would get out with like a suitcase. They'd be in the house for a couple hours and then they would dip. So I did a little research, Googled the wife's name, and believe it or not, right in Google Images, there were pictures of her getting railed out right in their kitchen, which I've been
Nice.
into multiple times.
What's her name? Can you share it for our audience?
I don't even remember her
Oh,
name, dude.
come on.
She does like MILF porn, but
That's my favorite.
the funny thing is they ended up moving, and like this really cute like old couple moved in, and like I've just so badly wanted to tell them like you should go on Google because your house is featured in a bunch of adult films. It's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious.
That is crazy.
Old couple. You
bro.
talking about my girl Rita?
No, not
Okay.
Rita. Not Rita.
Okay,
Right.
so what's
Right.
the next topic here?
Yeah, we're gonna move on. We
Yeah,
talked
enough of
about
the porn,
porn
you
way
know.
too much. This is actually about football.
Yeah.
We're going on to our shoebox bets, aka locks for week 1 against the spread. As you can probably already tell, we're all gambling degenerates here. We're gonna start it off with Matt again.
Whoa. First off, listen, I know I am not a stand-up citizen. But one thing I was able to quit was gambling. So I do a little FanDuel here, but if I were a gambling man still, Pete Carroll's record, home games in September, he's 14-0. Outscoring teams by 198. 14 games, 198 scoring plus scoring margin. That's like 14 points per game they're beating teams in Seattle in September versus the Bengals. Listen, the Bengals were bottom 2 versus running backs in fantasy. I think Chris Carson and Russell Wilson, they're going to control the game on the ground. That defense, the Bengals defense did not improve. It's gonna
Spread's
be
9.5.
9.5, yeah. They're beating teams by 14 in Seattle with Pete Carroll in September.
12th man.
It's going to be too much for Andy Dalton, the hobbled AJ Green. Is he even playing?
He's out.
No, he's out. He's out. He's
So,
out for
yeah,
3 or 4 weeks.
obviously. It's just not good for Cincinnati. Call it chalk, but it is with the spread. That's how I'm feeling, baby. Chris Carson, Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, Seattle Seahawks.
Plus, two of the
Lock it
offensive linemen for the Bengals are already ruled out.
That's the lock right
Yeah,
there.
Chris Carson's a great DFS play. Mike, you're definitely the biggest gambling degenerate here.
Used to
In
be.
fact, you probably still owe money to various bookies around the country.
Rest in peace.
One passed away.
Yeah. Seriously, rest in peace, Bookie Tim.
He died.
Thank God. Thank God. Otherwise, you'd have no legs
Rest in
today.
Yeah,
peace.
dude.
Jesus Christ.
What's your lock?
You are a fucking scumbag, dude.
Yes, I owed my bookie $600 and he passed away. Rest in peace.
Dude,
It's not fucking funny.
And then you moved to Florida to avoid.
It's not funny.
he called me looking for that shit, dude. I was like, Timmy who? Oh shit, Rockstone Timmy. Oh, dude, Mike, I haven't heard from him, dude. Okay, have you heard from your dad? I said, dude, I don't gamble, man. He said, all right, well, I'm gonna go find him at the Stone. I was like,
Me
there
and
you
the
go,
old
find me at
man.
the Rocking Stone.
Me and the old man owed him money. But I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go Tennessee, at Cleveland. I like Cleveland this year, but they got way too much hype. I think they get punched in the fucking mouth
Well, what's the
early.
spread?
5.5.
5.5. I'm going to take the underdog here, plus 5.5. Out of the last 10 Browns home openers, how many have they won?
Probably 0.
Fucking 0.
I know
Yeah.
they tied one, right?
They might have tied one versus Steelers. They always fucking tie. So I just feel like Mike Rabel, the Titans.
So they're home dogs.
No, they're in
It's
Cleveland.
in Cleveland.
They're not. They're like an ad team, but they're well coached. Their defense is a little stingy. I think they make it a game, and I think they can come out with a win. But I think they definitely cover the spread.
Yeah.
Shoebox week 1, go with the dog. Everybody's going to be loading up on Cleveland. Go against the grain here. Thank me later.
It's interesting you say that because, again, this shit is unfiltered. We just come to you guys with straight fire. We didn't discuss any of this shit. more so because we're not prepared. But with that being said,
True.
my shoebox bet of the week actually is Cleveland, and
Whoa.
I'm not on the Cleveland bandwagon like everyone else. I think they probably don't even win the division. With that being said, Taylor Lewan is suspended for the first 4 games for PEDs. They're starting another guard on their offensive line that starts is also going to be out. I think Cleveland's defensive line feasts all over Marcus Mariota, who is a bottom-tier quarterback in the NFL. 5.5 is a number I'm cool with. I think Cleveland wins by a touchdown. I do like Vrabel, but I think that the Titans are another team where we're going to see some regression this year. I think they overachieved last year. I have no faith in a Marcus Mariota-led offense. And this is more so a knock against Tennessee than it is a tip of the cap to Cleveland. Cleveland struggled in the preseason. Like, Baker Mayfield didn't look great. I know he was out there with his third-string wide receivers. But that being said, they have so much firepower on offense that as long as the defense can keep the Tennessee offense at bay, which I think they'll have no problem doing, then Cleveland's going to win this game by a touchdown. So, Mike, we might have to have just a friendly wager. Fuck the bookies.
Okay.
With that being said, I don't plan on dying anytime soon.
What's that say?
So,
What do you
like,
want? What do you
you
want to
better
bet
pay
here?
up, motherfucker.
Yeah, right. You don't want to make a bet with me because every time I lose, the other person dies.
Mysteriously dies, dude.
Unknown cause of death. All right, so we have
Seattle.
Seahawks.
Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawks. We have
I'm
the
on,
Browns,
I'm on Cleveland.
and I'm on the Titans. So
All right. Well,
bet
it
your
is what
money
it is.
accordingly.
Yeah, seriously. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next topic. Is a little game that we're going to 0 to
It's going to be James Washington. Excuse me.
not a good sign.
No, yeah,
Sunday,
really convincing, dude.
I sound
James
weird,
Washington.
dude. Sunday night, prime time. I think it's going to be a shootout. Steelers, Patriots. What Bill Belichick does, he takes their best playmaker, the opposition's best playmaker out. Clearly, Juju. And it's the first time Juju's in that role without AB. It's the first game, and he's in that primary, go-to guy position. So I think he's not ready for that, especially. He's ready for it, but not ready for it week 1 versus New England. I think Juju's still going to have a good game, but James Washington, look for him to break off a couple, chunk plays, even get a touchdown here. I say like 3 catches, 60, 70 yards and a touchdown.
So you're saying he's going to come out there and show everybody that he's going to be their number 2 guy and that
Yeah.
he's going to solidify his role in that offense.
I know.
Over Moncrief?
I think Moncrief's on the above him on the depth chart, but I think James Washington's going to be more productive,
A little more hungrier.
a little bit more
He's a
hungrier.
big play threat.
You know who Moncrief is. James Washington's been hungry. He's the opposite of Antonio Brown. Never says anything. Humble. He was a 3rd-round pick.
3rd-round pick.
Year-
Oklahoma State.
Year 2, I think he's ready to take the next step. And Tyreek Hill burned them 2 years ago in the opening week. I think Patrick Chung's doing cocaine. They had the backup safety in there. I think look for James Washington to make a couple deep plays.
All right.
Plays
I
with
can get
that.
I like
I
it.
can get behind that.
What are your thoughts?
I'm going to go back to Tennessee. My sleeper is Deion Lewis. You said Luan's out. The offensive guard's out. They're not going to run the ball with Derrick Henry versus that defense.
I agree.
They're just not. They don't have a lot of playmakers, a wide receiver. Mariota's I think Deion Lewis plays the majority of the snaps. Not the majority, but a significant more than Derrick Henry. Game flow situation here. I think Mariota checks down to him a lot, and I think he can rack up some yards after the catch. And I think that, if you want a sleeper guy, DFS or season long, you're in a pinch like my boy Burke said, give Deion Lewis a shot. So with that being said, I like Deion Lewis, and I also like Higgins in that game, but no Callaway. I think ODB and Baker will connect early. but not often. And I think Higgins is a big play guy there, and that if the Browns do cover the spread, it's going to be courtesy of a Baker to Higgins deep bomb in the fourth quarter. So, give you two: Deion Lewis and Higgins.
We're covering this fucking Brown. You would
Oh,
think
yeah.
we're Browns fans or Titans
Yeah,
fans
right.
here.
What the fuck?
I agree with you, man. Baker Mayfield and Rashard Higgins definitely have chemistry. I believe like 75% of the passes Baker Mayfield attempted
First down or something.
that went to Rashard Higgins were
70,
completions.
70%.
Yeah, it's a crazy statistics. He's a guy that's probably sitting out on the waiver wire that you could pick up if you're looking for someone that probably is going to be pretty productive early on. That being said, I like this is going to be Will Fuller. Now, Will Fuller is probably, he's being drafted as about the 35th, 36th wide receiver. So he's a guy that's probably on every single unless you play in an 8-man league. He's not like a guy that you're going to pick up off the scrap heap. But he's probably not starting week 1 in most leagues. With that being said, excellent time to put him in the lineup because I think that matchup on Monday night against the Saints in the Dome, it's going to be a high-scoring affair. Vegas knows it is. It has one of the highest totals of the week. And Kiki Cutie's banged up. He's questionable to play. Kenny Stills is new to the offense, still learning the playbook. So you're going to see a lot of DeAndre Hopkins, and you're going to see a lot of Will Fuller. Will Fuller, 11 touchdowns in the last 16 games that he's played. Season long, I mean, the guy can't stay on the field. What you got to do here is cash in on Will Fuller early, dish him off before he gets hurt. But I think Will Fuller's he's going to be in a good spot in that primetime Monday night game to put up a touchdown, be productive. And he's kind of similar to a James Washington where, he could pull off a 40, 50-yard bomb. It's not like he's dependent on volume. He's a guy that can be productive, only seeing a few targets. With that being said, I think he's probably going to see about 7 or 8 targets. If you're concerned because he's coming off the ACL injury that he sustained last year, he's looked good in training camp according to all reports. So he's a guy that you can roll out there. If you're playing DFS, obviously you can't use him in the Sunday main slate. But that Monday night, if you're doing like a one-game GPP tournament style, he's a guy that you want to get in your lineup because he's not going to be expensive and he has big playability. So I like Will Fuller week 1.
Yeah, let me piggyback off the Will Fuller. I actually like Will Fuller too. Lattimore's going to be shadowing Hopkins. So that leaves Will Fuller versus Eli Apple. It's just a great matchup. And if you look at Will Fuller, he always does good early on, and then he ends up getting hurt. So I think I really do like Will Fuller.
But with that being said, next episode, I'm going to take a swig every time one of you guys say. But with that being said.
With that being
said, you're a fucking asshole.
Marshawn Lattimore, I think you told me this, Mike. Marshawn Lattimore was one of the worst corners.
No, shadow cornerback.
Shadow cornerback. So,
yeah.
With that being said, Hopkins, he's not really a 0, but look, overall, I think that's going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
Anybody in that
they're going to
offense,
put up numbers.
It's going to be good.
Both receivers.
So with that being said, I think Will Fuller has great touchdown upside.
Yeah, and I agree. He doesn't need a lot of targets, so he's a big play guy. Even if he gets 7 to 8 targets, I mean, I would take that all day if I'm a Will Fuller owner on DFS or season long. So I think it's a great pick.
Speaking of DFS, are either you guys going to get involved in some DFS action? It's week 1, bro. You got to break the bank and get a lineup together.
I'm going to say no now, but when I wake up tomorrow and have a couple beers at 10 o'clock in a.m., I'm going to fucking definitely go for it. So
if I do anything, I'm not going to do too much research. I'm probably going to do my season-long lineup, incorporate that,
fucking
and then work from there, because my season-long team, they're my babies.
Yeah, I hear you on
They're
that.
my babies.
I got a lineup together for week 1 on the DFS main slate. I really like Carson Wentz this week, man. I think I know he hasn't played all preseason. He's coming off of an injury, but Redskins fucking suck. Their defense isn't that horrible. Their defense is definitely good. It's a division game, so they're going to play tough. But if you have any trust, and that's another, speaking of week 1 locks,
That hurts, dude.
Week 1 locks, Philadelphia is probably going to cover the spread. If they don't beat them by double digits, I'd be surprised. We're all Eagles fans here, so might be a little bit biased, but Carson Wentz is going to put up some numbers, man. And with Djax back in town, I'm having some flashbacks from 2010. First play of the game, Monday night. Michael Vick to Djax.
Well, didn't Wentz hook up with Aguilar when they played the Skins for the first play or something like that?
Their first game.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I agree with you.
Washington.
Yeah, I think Wentz always fucks the Redskins up,
Ertz
especially week one.
is a Redskins killer, dude. I'm talking like 80 and a touchdown every time.
Seriously. And shout out Malcolm, who is the only Redskins fan. Actually, I know 2 Redskins fans. You have to be a depressed, sorry, sad fuck to root for it. Pitiful. You know, the Raiders are a joke. The Redskins are a laughing stock, man. If you're a Redskins fan, fuck you.
I think like the most meaningful win they had was when 2 years ago Raiders were like 4-0.
When Joe Theismann broke his leg.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Remember they came
out.
into Washington and like the Raiders were the favorite. They were like 4-0. Redskins were like 1-3, and like
blew them
the Redskins blew them out. Like that's the highlight. That's the last highlight you get for a Redskins fan.
It's embarrassing, dude. And what? How do you feel about the whole team name thing, man? Should they change their team name?
It's disgusting.
It is. It's fucked up, dude. They should really change it.
No way.
It's like disgusting. The Redskins, come on. Nah, I don't give a fuck. No.
Dude, it's who really cares, man? Who really gives a fuck?
You know,
I guess if you were a Native American, maybe, but like apparently Native
everybody
Americans
apparently has 2% or part of a fucking. I can't stand that. I'm Navajo.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And I'm Cherokee.
And I'm
Speaking
Irish.
of porn,
Speaking of
Cherokee,
Cherokee,
let's
let's
go.
go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go to
Me
Cherokee,
and
I know.
Khalifa are Cherokee DS.
Oh,
Well, there's 2 Cherokees. There's the black and the white one.
There's a white Cherokee?
Yeah.
Is she a pog?
What the fuck is that?
That's a PAWG, fat ass white girl.
Yeah, dude. She has long hair and like.
You gotta get your.
Yeah, she's great.
You gotta get your shit
She's
up.
great.
Anyway, man, that is the end of episode 2, man. We're gonna be shooting some fire at you guys every single week. We're gonna do a podcast here, so tune in and listen to what us 3 jokers have to say. And shout out Natty Light Seltzer.
Get tuned up and tune in.
Yo, you got to give him the whole suck it like you did episode 1, my guy. You know what I mean? Bang, it's a rat. It's a rat.